and welcome everybody to TSL Week 11. This is Rebel Lions, or the Lions, versus Eclipsis Game 3. This is Artemis casting, and with me...
Cat.
just Cat, i.e. Bozocat, the textual mathematical epic co-caster. So here we go, folks. We've got spawning in the bottom, we have the Rebel Lions, or the Lions. Spawning, I gotta fix the overlay, there we go. Spawning in the bottom is a double 5-spine Guardian, 2 Leviathans, Arbiter with Storm, and a 5 Armor Destro, so something more traditional than their launch comp. From the top, for Eclipsis, we have two levies, 2 5-spine Guardians, a 5 Armor Destro, and a Raven. So mirror comp, excepting the Arbiter, for both teams. So this could be a very interesting, even matchup. Hopefully... darn good get, well, it depends on your perspective. Be a case of who can get off a Storm versus an EMP first. Already, basically, Eclipsis has the energy advantage with EMP from the Raven. But right now it's actually going to be a case of skill. Skill of guarding, skill kiting and tanking. Shield transferring, and who is also the better levy. We have Admin 6 versus Beggy Ice in the top lane, and Demetrius versus Shapig in the bottom lane.
This is a very scary place to be as a Guardian, because if you derp from the lag from being on EU, all 5 of their ships can potentially converge if they're in a nice arc and kill you very, very quickly. I have the unhappy memory of having just that derp in Game 1 of our very, very first TSL match against Ace.
Yeah, it's the one problem with lag that even global play isn't going to sort out. Lag will always still be a problem. The Eclipsis did a bit of a push there on one of the Guardians, just pushing in the center on Riker, the Destro. Darngood did get a Storm off, but it missed, but he's looking in, he's got full energy now. Storming on the hull and on Eddie. The hull of Meow, i.e. OSB. Admin 6 pushing Beggy fairly far up. But not far back enough that Eclipsis could take the advantage of a turn. Both Destros basically at the same level of health. It's gonna be very interesting because we have skilled guard players, good Destros, and levy players up against each other. It's actually a complete mirror, guys. We have the 2 support, 2 guardians, 2 destros, 2 guards, another 2 levies. Complete mirroring.
On the one hand, Storm is better for bringing OSB's armor down, but on the other hand, Luigi has constantly recharging his shield independently of his energy. So it's a very interesting match. Uh-oh, Eddie stopped. There's not much health to cover him.
The Guardian stopping issue you mentioned earlier. The Guardian stops. Looks like the Eclipsis turned it into a bit of a push.
For that EMP, they do not see him and cut on him. Shapig comes in, he's full health from having won his side lane so well. And he saves everybody.
What are we looking at for the farm here? Let's see. 660 farm for the Lions, it's 750 farm for Eclipsis. So Eclipsis even is winning the farm war in an even matchup, guys. So like when you say, for example, a support comp would generally have a little less farm, but in this case it's basically dead even, so when you look at the numbers it really tells you how well each team is doing.
And that lead is spread evenly across the board. There is no ship that is behind its counterpart. All of Eclipsis is farming better than all of Rebel Lions. It's mostly because of that first initial very strong push they made on Riker, with both Guardians acid sporing him, with not both Guardians acid sporing OSB back.
Yeah. Though it's hard to, it's always hard to moonwalk. It's much easier to be in pursuit than it is to run away. And looks like, yeah, Beggy and Admin 6 basically dueling out. They're almost twins. They're actually literally almost twins in their upgrades. Both at 6 bile, 9 range. And Damn Good is a Guardian, and he's up to 1.6 and 9 range.
He was bleeding, so we had to back and upgrade.
Yeah. So that
This is going
speed
to
is
force
going to help
Eclipsis
him.
to back and upgrade.
Shipig is now at 6 bile, so basically same upgrades as the 2 levies at the top. Demetrius not doing so well, only has his 1.6. He's got no health upgrades, no bile upgrades really as of yet. Looks like Damn Good is coming down to try to push on Shipig, who's a bit in the corner here. Eclipsis pulling back. Beggy Ice
I
staying
think
here at the
Demetrius
top.
saving for rapid regen.
That would make sense. Nope, he just put him more into bile. Actually in 10 range now. So no
Oh,
rapid
never
regen
mind.
from him. Eclipsis gathered up here. Are they going to try to warp in on Shipig? They could actually push it. Shipig pushes on Demetrius. They could catch him. They may decide to warp in on Beggy. Partial warp out and partial walkout. So spines on Lars, bots and lasers on, and hull on OSB. And what we got? Who else did I not call out? Luigi's gotten Seeker, which is going to help push further back in the middle. And is really going to punish any ship that doesn't have its speed upgrades yet. And Demetrius is actually in the red right now, so he's going to be forced to go back and upgrade. Bit of a push. Chrono now and Darn Good. That's going to help even the playing field and help the Leviathans be a bit more competitive in the side lanes. And looks like Beggy Ice is going back to upgrade, probably rapid regen. So Luigi, similar to last game, is taking the outside lane. Go to try to get farmed up. Taking quite a few hits from bile from Admin 6, who is now up to 10. Existential warp in Scourge. We've only seen one of the Guardians upgrade, but Existential now is Scourge, so we may be seeing double Scourge from the Lions. Aegeus warping in. Rapid regen. As expected. It's basically the standard up. You don't see Leviathans not get rapid regen early on. It helps. Spine and Acid Spray again from Shipig. Favorite upgrade sequence of his. But they also saw the Scourge, so it would also be a good counter to Scourge. Riker now getting his standard mirrored ups to OSB. Bots, lasers, standard stuff. Bit of a push here in Existential. What's our farm? Oh, actually, you're going to type us some more upgrades first. But I'll take a look at meanwhile what our upgrade thing is. Oh, Admin 6 warping in on the top. Seeker on Demetrius. We've got 1,200 farm for the Lions and 1,300 for just 1,400 farm for Eclipsis, so 150 farm lead there. So still pretty even. And of course, both these teams are actually taking a slightly different route with their compositions. Shipig seems to be going more for a little bit more into armor. Luigi taking a lot of hits from Admin 6, but that's not strictly as necessary because he only can transfer to the Destro. And if the Destro is not having too hard a time, better position and more farm, maybe a better trade-off than more shields on the Destro, especially with the 2 Guardians. And again, Eddie is going for a bit of more of a tanky Guardian build. And Scourge as well. Lars will still
call attention as a teaching thing to how badly Shipig is crushing Demetrius. Even though they have equal bile, and even though Shipig is also fighting 2 Guardians at the same time, and the reason for that is simple. It is rapid regeneration. He's healing, Demetrius isn't, and it lets him dominate his lane, lets him go wherever he wants and farm without thinking about whether or not he's putting pressure, because he's just putting pressure by existing.
Yeah.
And that is why he's winning his lane, and that's why he's getting more farm. It builds into itself. Guardians, get rapid regen early. There's no reason not to.
I mean Leviathans, yeah.
Leviathans, sorry.
No worries. Big flying brown bugs in space. Or flying dolphins, as I've heard the Guardians called, and big flying octopuses or something for the levies. But yeah, no, sometimes actually, if you can afford it, sometimes 1 or 2 more passive health upgrades help as well, because you get that little bit of extra regen too. But
yep, Shipig has already bought the first one.
You regen just a little faster. Shapig now coming in, helping, using his tents to help, and acid spray to help clean up those scourges, which is really helping the middle. Because right now the two Lions Guardians don't, while they do have Scourge and they have Anabolic, they don't have a lot of energy yet, so they're forced to either stab themselves to get more energy, or they just have to wait. Bit of a storm, and push here on Shapig while he doesn't have any energy to deal with Rapid Regen, but is able, actually the tents and lasers are able to clean up a lot of the Scourge right there. So now we have double Scourge. So do we... No, but we don't know if Eclipsis is going for double Scourge or single. So... because one of the Guardians for Eclipsis still hasn't upgraded. Existential, likewise, still needs to get further upgrades. We'll probably be going more into Scourge. Beggy is now switched over to the bottom lane. Demetrius looks like he may be switching over to the top and exchanging. Bit of a ball up here in the bottom. The Eclipsis Guardian, one of the Eclipsis Guardians has gone back to upgrade, probably to go get Scourge. There goes Riker, and an EMP on Riker right there.
Oh, that's great. That's going to send Riker back for a long time.
And of course, counter Scourges back and forth. So basically, it's going to be which team thinks they can push through a Scourge in the end, and that comes down to the Leviathans.
Bottom lane, Admin 6 is getting cut on. Looks like they're not committing to it.
Yep, Scourges and Seeker though, and a bit of pressure by Beggy. Guardian, second Eclipsis Guardian is now warped in. Lars gotten Parasite and Scourge. So we'll see which ship that Parasite goes down on. Possibly the...
Not sure how I feel about that second Scourge so late. By around 20 minutes, the spines get big enough that Scourge start to lose their effectiveness. I understand the sentiment that Rebel Alliance doesn't have much to counter Scourge, but I wish he'd gotten it earlier.
Yeah, he was sitting on 800 minerals before he went back to upgrade. He could have gone back a bit sooner and still been effective. Because it wasn't as if the middle was weak and soft and needed reinforcement. They were doing alright. And Darn Good is just following Admin 6 around, being Admin 6's best buddy, chronoing him. Admin 6 now has rapid regen. So 180 farm difference now. Okay, Riker's gotten bombardment now, which helped with the bit of Scourge, but it's still, most of it still hit him. He didn't have enough time to take care of that. More scourging by the Guardians back and forth. But yeah, it's never a good sign when a team needs to use their Arbiter to help their Leviathan win their lane. Looks like more ganging up on the bottom. D-Matrix now on Luigi. Yep, so OSB on the Meow account is actually going back right now to upgrade. So we'll see what direction the Destro goes. A little bit of a mistimed acid spray on that D-Matrix helps him out a bit. Now Demetrius is going back, still banking 400, so it hasn't gotten rapid regen. Just got rapid regen, not able to afford frenzy. Nice EMP by Luigi on Darn Good. Bit of a warp in here. Riker warping out on Demetrius. Demetrius trying to push and apply some pressure up on the top. Double acid spray, which basically cleans up all the Scourge before it's able to hit him. Who did the Parasite go down on? On Existential, which is going to help out with the Scourges. And the Eclipsis Destro has warped in, just warped in now on the bottom, gotten protective field energy build, which is going to allow him to help tank behind the Scourges and apply more pressure. So Eclipsis again doing a bit of a soft contain here. The Lions are trying to they're trying to get off all their scourges, and they are doing some damage, but Eclipsis now has some methods, like for example the acid spray, which is helping take care of them. Whereas the Lions' levies do not have acid spray yet. Though they may not choose to. And they choose to let Chrono help their ships heal. Ooh, Seeker on Riker, that's gonna hit. Shipig always outfarms the team. Shipig is a very, very good farmer. So his Red Lions is upgrading now, firing 275 energy on Riker. It still doesn't have quite enough to upgrade yet. Eclipsis farming it up by the prisms. They will not be able to maintain a full contain, but they are farming it up as much as possible. The Lions are regrouping. Looks like they're setting up a warp trick on Riker. Shipig is essentially following Riker. Eclipsis is starting to pull back in the middle. The Shipig is actually cutting up. He's already 1.7. And Shipig is going around. Could we be seeing another pincer movement? He's going behind Riker a bit. There was no warp out. Instead they walked out. And no, not quite. Just a maneuvering. And Shipig is going up against Demetrius again. This time Shipig's got his 10s on him. 11 versus 7. Eddie's lending a Scourge as a helping hand. Broods are out on Damn Good and Existential. Level 10 Broods. On level 10 on Damn Good, level 5 on Exy. And the Eclipsis Guardians are both banking 1,200 minerals and 800. Guys, go upgrade already. So we'll be seeing if they'll be getting counter broods or if they'll be doing something else.
I'm going to critique the Broodlord build for a little bit. Neither Broodlord Guardian has bought gamete meiosis, which improves not only the firing rate of your own personal broodlings by a factor of 2.5, it also increases the firing rate of all of your Broodlords by, I believe it's 20%. And so it is generally just not a good idea not to buy it. You get 2.5 times more personal broodlings when you don't have broodlords out. Particularly for Damn Good, who's got 10 broodling damage upgrades. It's kind of painful for me to see that as a Guardian player. And Existential, I don't think he should have... I guess he couldn't even afford broodlords, so that matters less for him. But definitely for Damn Good.
How much does gamete meiosis cost?
It's pretty cheap. I believe it is 150. But I will double check that when somebody hits the mothership.
Sort of like the sub 200-ish range.
Yeah.
Looks like you'll get your chance to check. And FYI, yeah, Bozo, not a Guardian player, but Bozo knows this, and a lot of other people know this. I don't play Guardian.
Oh, he brought it too fast for me to see it.
Ah, it's okay.
Yeah, so now instead of being 3.0 and making one broodling, it's 2.5 and makes 2.
Yeah, that's a big difference. So more skirmishes in the middle. We'll see how these broodlords start to play out. Eclipsis still has not upgraded. 14 and 1,000 minerals on the Guardians, 500 on the Destro, 600 on the Raven. So Eclipsis is definitely going to think about pulling back to upgrade. Looks like Shipig is banking 600, going to go get Frenzy.
It'll be very interesting to see what those Guardians do with that. Will they come out with even better broodlords, or will they go for a rundown thing because the Red Lions team is now relatively immobile?
Yeah, that's going to be it's an interesting aspect of the mirror comm. One goes broodlords, is the other going to do the same? And then it's a matter of placement too. Who can play best with them? Really an interesting way you compare the two teams. And Eclipsis is finally going to start upgrading, so we'll see what they get. And we have Parasite and Broodlords level 8 on Lars. 7, 8, 9. Okay, well, just getting up there. Bozocat will check that later. But did they get gamete? Yes, they did get gamete. One of them did, anyways. So Eclipsis has almost like a 700 farm lead, a little less actually, 600. Shipig is now almost
They're doing
soloing
another
in the corner.
pincer. Beggy
Oh, you're
pushing
right.
on the right, and everybody else warping in on Shipig on the left. That's going to go great.
This worked out really well for Eclipsis last time. Let's see if the Lions will get stuck in this trap again.
Oh, Luigi doesn't have warps. They're not going to do it for real.
28 minutes and no warp. I know you can do without warp. He's gotten railgun now and PDDs. I don't know. Gotta have warp, man. 28 minutes. But he's 1.7 by now. Clash of the Titans, and actually OSB going right on top of Riker here. And the Scourge and the Broodlings really starting to wear Riker down. Corruption on Shipig. Sorry, Shipig has corruptions using, which increases damage by 20%. Beggy is simply going for starting to bank his minerals, not having as good times farming. Doesn't have Frenzy yet. Likewise with Admin 6. Admin 6, though, has 15 bile and force fields to back him up, whereas Beggy has PDDs. Here come the broods. Big wave of broods from Eclipsis. Riker's bombarding some of these broods and trying to get at the PDDs, because Admin 6's strength is bile at this point. He's actually not even maintaining one shot. He still only has 7 tentacles. Beggy is was maintaining one shot. We'll see if he continues to do so. Big, massive wave of Broodlords, level 10 and 11. Double parasite, single parasite on Lars, which need to be dropped on somebody. Big push on Existential by Shipig, frenzied up. Almost there. Not quite. He's got away with about 2,000 health or so. Most of the broodlings are gone, but they're spawning more over time. How effective is Railgun on the Raven? Because I don't see it often.
Railgun's range was nerfed several patches ago, and now it underranges Broodlords by a bit. But it does one-shot them when it fires, so if you have Corvid, you can get in there, kill a Broodlord, and get out with relatively little damage. Especially if you have a Spine Guardian covering you and cleaning up the little broodlings. I wanted to point out, when the Eclipsis Broodlord Guardian pushed out, if you saw just how many Broodlords they were able to put out, and that's an example of really timing their anabolic synthesis as well, and of pooping out a few Broodlords at the beginning just to make sure no energy gets wasted, and then dumping them all at once. That's how you want to lay Broodlords down, so that you get the maximum fire. A Broodlord's damage hits a point called saturation, where Broodlings are firing even faster than the lasers can kill them, and that's when their DPS gets completely ridiculous. That's when they're doing 2, 3, 4 times as much damage as a Void Ray against unarmored targets. When you just put them out one at a time, the way Rebel Lions had been at the beginning, those Broodlords aren't doing any damage at all. They just die too fast. You really need to put them out in waves like this. This is a good clinic for that. The other Guardian thing I want to critique is I think Eddie has a little bit too much energy considering how much Broodlord damage he has. Almost everything here has some armor, and so it would be great to have a little bit more Broodlord damage.
What about controlling the Broodlords? Like a bit of a noob like me, you know. Okay, sure. Let's say I can time my broods. I can get a lot of them out. You know, how do you volley? What are your best targets? You know, the unarmored targets, or what are you looking for as a Guardian player?
A lot of that depends on what the captain wants to have.
I gotta call this out though. Major warp trick.
Oh my god.
Major warp trick. I just saw
They're
flip
so far
red.
behind. They have to get a kill now. But if Eclipsis puts all their Broodlords down and OSB tanks well, this could be a bloodbath.
Yep, and Shipig is already at 19,000 health. He has corruption. He's got almost full energy. He's frenzied up. The one they're really going to be protecting is Luigi and OSB, as well as the Guardians have enough distance space.
Shipig turns Admin 6 can die.
He actually can.
Beautiful.
He's actually dancing backwards. There we go. Eclipsis giving a turn. Brewlers did their job softening up the whole team. Are they going to try to go for kill? Looks like they're going to try to go for existential.
Caught in the back.
Yep. But
No cloak.
Shapig's in the orange, but he still only has 8,000 health. He has so many health upgrades.
Shapig's rapid regen at 2880.
He's been upgrading that. Riker is actually in the red and caught a bit by Shapig. Shapig could just keep on him. Corruption. Protective field goes up. E field goes up. Energy shield.
Great defensive play by Riker to survive that. That was so much TPS that he just weathered. But
Yep.
Demetrius dies instead.
And, oh, he burned down. And there goes Riker and Demetrius. There's the GG from Damn Good. So yeah, a bit of a different matchup this time, for sure. I mean, the first game was a bit more traditional on both sides, and then we saw the cheese in the second game, with a full int deny, and actually unconventional with no destros for Eclipsis, and then we see almost a mirror comp for both teams.
It'd be a bit of a simplification to say this game was won in the first 5 minutes, but all of Eclipsis' advantages and strategic decisions stemmed from them winning that first push and Shapig being able to win his lane. There were other problems and other twists and turns in the game, but that moment when they managed to get everybody on the destro influenced the outcome of the entire game for the rest of it.
Yeah, because then they just got in a bit of a farm advantage. But then your points about the Broodlords are actually well said as well. Of course, that means, Eclipsis is going to be meeting up with the Lions again, well, hopefully, in the playoffs.
And that game will actually be for something that matters, so I expect Rebel Lions to turn it up to 11.
Yep, because this is going to be for the Elite Levy skin, so this is a prize that's never been given out before, and I think there may be special stars as well, and also the eternal glory of winning TSL. But congratulations, as Admin 6 is saying, congratulations to all the teams that made it into the playoffs. We have in order, I believe it's in order. Let me rattle it off. We have we have Red Lions. I can't find it. There we go. Sorry, Rebel Lions, Space Bunnies. I don't know how Cyberdyne did, so Cyberdyne and Eclipsis. So I don't know what the final ranking is. And then all the other teams who participated in TSL. This was an excellent regular season. Any other last words, Bozo, before we close off? And then we get to break until NA9 and then a break until playoffs.
I don't have words, but I have letters.
GG! GG, everyone. Good luck. Have fun. Let's all go play Star Battle.